What's good? It's Woog. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. I just wanted to take a moment and talk some Donda. Donda. Now, we've been seeing this delayed releases, changed up album artwork, varying track list, varying guests on songs, multiple listening parties, the delays of the album only being revealed at the night that it's supposed to come out, and then when we wake up the next morning, discover, hey, the album still ain't dropped yet. We've been seeing this whole rollout play out for some time now, and so whether or not this was Kanye's will to release it when it released, it dropped, and it's a very long album. I just want to unpack some of it and also just address some of the critical reviews that I'm seeing. Like, I saw the UK Independent, the Independent in the UK, give this one a 0. Like Roisin O'Connor gave this album a 0 strictly because Marilyn Manson was featured on the album. I've been seeing a lot of personal and emotional reasons to just totally discredit the album. I would at least like to see an album reviewed on the merits of the music on the album. Like, if Roisin O'Connor wanted to sit this one out and have somebody else review it, then okay. But to give it an official 0 as your score for the album, I mean, damn, how credible is that? So I just want to actually talk about Donda and the music on Donda, and also where Donda would fit among, if we were to grade or rank the different Kanye West albums, where does Donda fit in? I mean, you know, since Yeezus 2013 or The Life of Pablo 2016, it's pretty much been the mixed bag of gospel albums, and then that 7-song Yay album where Ghost Town, the song, phenomenal song. That's one of my favorite Kanye West songs, but it was 7 songs long. It wasn't great. I mean, Yikes was okay. It had a couple moments, but this was that summer where Kanye West produced like a 7-song album for Nas, a very, very good 7-song album for Pusha T, Daytona, Tiana Taylor, Kids See Ghosts, which was the Kanye West and Kid Cudi collab. Some good stuff, but it was a mixed bag. Daytona and Kids See Ghosts, great. Nas's Nasir, not so much, although Nas has obviously recovered with King's Disease 1 and 2 over the past year, 2 years. But let's get right into Donda. Very long album, over 20 songs long. You know, the problem that I had with this album as I'm listening through it is it took a few songs for this album to get out of first gear, I felt. I mean, there is Jail, track 2, that features Jay-Z, and he did have the line about Red Cap, time to come home. Jay-Z had a pretty clever verse, and, you know, props to Kanye for keeping that Kanye diss on his own song on the record. Again, I don't know if this was Kanye's will to have it roll out in the form and matter and date that it did, but it's on the album as it stands. And, you know, I can't really make heads or tails out of anything, which is what is Kanye's true intention, what is real, what is not real. It just seems like there's so many differing opinions, like between him and DaBaby's manager, whether or not Kanye was trying to get DaBaby on it, whether DaBaby's manager stalled in the response. You see text exchanges, you see Chris Brown and Soulja Boy calling Kanye out, you know, Soulja for his last minute omission from the album. It's always a circus, especially lately when you're dealing with Kanye West and the rollout and releases of his albums. But yeah, this album takes a while to get out of first gear. God Breathe, I mean, I could have totally done without that one. I mean, if that one was supposed to be like an intro, because I know God breathed on this, I know God breathed on this, like in the beat, you know, with the 808s and stuff. I mean, I get what he was doing, but I mean, it could have been considered an interlude, maybe. I mean, this was like 5.5 minutes long, and it wasn't. I didn't love the song. So now, Jail was okay. God Breathe, nah, I wasn't feeling it. So by the time you get to Off the Grid, you're on track 4 because the opener just had Selena Johnson repeating the word Donda. That was the Donda chant, and I get what he was doing there too. There's emotional invocation in chanting and repeating his mother's name. Pretty deep, but musically, it didn't really get off the ground until maybe track 4 with Off the Grid featuring Playboi Carti and Fivio Foreign. Like, but even on that one, it felt like a Like, if you were to place this song on Kanye West's best albums, like, this would have been one of the worst songs, for instance, on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and it wouldn't have been one of the best songs on even Yeezus. And Yeezus, to me, isn't a top 3, probably not a top 4 Kanye West album. Some disagree, I get that. In fact, Yeezus was critically either the best or among the best albums released in 2013. So let's acknowledge that about Yeezus, because a lot of people don't really feel any of Kanye West's stuff after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I feel like, The Life of Pablo had its moments. So by the time we get to track 5, it's Hurricane with Lil Baby and The Weeknd. Is it me, or is it kind of hard to have a song featuring The Weeknd that doesn't end up sounding like a Weeknd song? Like, The Weeknd's voice and his ambience and his presence on a song is so The Weeknd that it's hard to just feature The Weeknd without being outshadowed by The Weeknd. But Lil Baby, he's been lacing a lot of great featured verses lately, and to me, this one wasn't necessarily one of them. So Hurricane was a pretty good song. So by the time we're on track 6, Praise God with Baby Keem and Travis Scott. Now, Praise God did kind of kick it up a notch a little bit, in my opinion. Baby Keem, he's the one who just had Kendrick Lamar feature on his new song. Baby Keem has a very Baby Keem type of delivery. Basically, the delivery that you hear on this Praise God song is kind of the same cadence and flow that he features on that song that he featured Kendrick Lamar on. I think it was called Family Matters. But, like, what's up with the babies, Baby Keem and DaBaby, kind of having like their signature cadence that they repeat over a lot of different songs on different projects? But Praise God was pretty good. But again, we're 6 songs in, and it still isn't feeling like definitely not feeling like a great album by this point. It's maybe a fair to good album by this point. But by the time you get to Jonah, okay, that's the one. It features Lil Durk and Vori. Vori was also featured on that I Know God Breathed on This, track 3. Jonah is the best song by the time you get to Jonah. I feel like Jonah is the best song out of the first 7 songs. You might be able to say Hurricane, maybe some feel off the grid, but I feel Jonah is the best out of the first 7. Okay. That one's pretty good. I actually like Lil Yachty's verse on this one. He actually kind of comes in sort of understated. When Lil Yachty first started making waves, I thought that he sounded a little bit like Andre 3000, believe it or not, in a weird way. If you truly listen to Lil Yachty, you'll hear what I'm talking about. Same type of voice, and a lot of people were just totally shitting on mumble rap when Lil Yachty was emerging. So when he was featured on like The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne was kind of dissing him and stuff. But Lil Yachty, as far as like just the natural talent and gifts, his voice is an instrument of sorts, and I think that that's kind of showcased on Okay. Junta featuring Playboi Carti, pretty good song. I think that one kind of contends with Jonah as maybe the best song out of the first 9, and then Believe What I Say. That's like the first one that to me really kicked it up a notch. This one is featuring Buju Banton on like the bridge or the hook. And you know what? I want to take a moment out of this whole track by track breakdown and just kind of give the lyrics on this one, when Kanye is rapping, they're pretty good. Now, one of the things that made Kanye so irresistible as an artist is that it was the humor in his lyrics. It was unparalleled. When he came into the game with The College Dropout, it was a type of humor that you weren't really getting out of like the gangster rappers from the East, West Coast, or Midwest. Not only did Kanye West kind of marry the conscious rap with the mainstream when he came in, because he comes in on Rockefeller Records, and so they're all about flossing and basically all the typical stuff that rappers are prone to talk about. But Kanye was pretty much speaking to a non-gangster, type of person. He's talking to college girls, just regular ass dudes, retail working guys, just people trying to make their way. That was the breath of fresh air that Kanye West brought into the game. Even his dress code at the time with the polo shirts versus what was being worn, it was also refreshing. But when you listen to, College Dropout and Late Registration to Graduation and so forth, it's the humor in his bars that was like just so quintessential Kanye and uniquely Kanye. Now, I know that he's had different, people helping him write over the years. Rhymefest, fellow Chicago MC. Rhymefest wrote some. Pusha T has written some. Sci-Hi the Prince has written some. So Kanye West makes no effort to hide the fact that, it is essentially a writing team in a lot of these cases. But Kanye West is coming off with a certain sense of humor in his bars. And I feel like he's got that on this album. So many things that he says on here are just downright hilarious. Like on track 18, New Again, where he starts it off like saying something about, he's like basically texting a girl and he's like, if I hit you with the W-I-D, you better not hit me with a hey. It better be like, hi, with a bunch of eyes, or hey, with a bunch of Y's. Like, that is so Kanye West. And he does that time and time again. Now, a lot of these songs on here aren't even rap songs, but when he is spitting the verse, it usually does contain that type of, some of that Kanye West humor. And, the fact that a lot of these songs aren't rap songs, you got to wonder, so who is this album really targeted to appeal to? Like, I get it that it's, Kanye has this is my brainchild type of approach to his music. And, just the fact that there's so many songs on here says that, this isn't going to be for everybody, but there is going to be something in here for everybody. And, that also begs the question, like, how much of an appetite for gospel rap does the rap audience have? And who within the rap audience will gravitate towards a gospel rap album? I'm thinking it's the same people who are feeling College Dropout, who are now in their mid-30s or something, maybe a little older, maybe a little bit younger, but it's not going to be the of-age drill or trap audience that would truly, in my opinion, appreciate a gospel rap album. Now, I had left this off, this whole track by track breakdown on track 10, Believe What I Say. Well, a few songs after that, he's got a song called Jesus Lord. And to me, that is the best song on this entire album, hands down. Like, it's almost tear-jerking good. Like, it's such an emotional song based on the lyrics, like the story that he's telling with the kids and the family issues and, what happened to the brother, what's going on with the mother, and just the cycle of violence and incarceration and broken families. Like, Jesus Lord is a beautiful, beautiful song. And I think that even the biggest Kanye West naysayers, or the people who are totally done with Kanye because of some of the antics that he's pulled in recent years, from the MAGA hat. Some people hated him because of that. Some people hate him because, he takes a adversarial political stance to most Democrats or liberals. Like, there are a lot of reasons to take issue with Kanye West, especially in recent years. Like, he kind of threw Kim under the bus with the whole, abortion thing, that announcement that he made. A lot of bizarre behavior. He's obviously on medication sometimes. Like, all kinds of different things going on with the Kanye West saga, which, I mean, can we be honest? This is like the most interesting saga in like recent rap or even music history. Who else has kind of kept their name in the headlines and just kept the story going and showing this like blurring of art versus reality that Kanye West has persisted in for the past 15, 16, 17 years. It's really been remarkable, whether you love it or you hate it. You can't deny his all-in commitment to his craft and to the overall contextualization, or at least efforts at contextualizing around his craft. Kanye West is all in, but the song Jesus Lord, which is track 17, truly remarkable. It has a featured verse from Electronica, who's just sounding golden on this song. Is it me or Wu-Tang fans out there? Does Electronica sound a bit like Killah Priest from Sons of Man, and who dropped that wonderful debut album, Heavy Mental? Killah Priest, Electronica, am I the only one hearing this? But yeah, Jesus Lord ends in a 2-minute talk from Larry Hoover Jr. advocating for his father, Larry Hoover, who Kanye West has, tried to advocate for in freeing him from incarceration. So that's the last couple minutes of Jesus Lord. It's a long song. It's like 9 minutes long. Now, when you get to the very end of the album, they're like 4 part 2s. So those are the ones where there was confusion over who the guests were going to be. So there's like Jail part 2 that features DaBaby instead of Jay-Z. There's OK OK part 2. There's Junta part 2. And there's Jesus Lord part 2. And this one features the Locks at the end of an already long song. So it's 11 minutes and 30 seconds tacked on to the end of an already very long album. To me, I could do without the Locks feature. Nothing against the Locks. I love the Locks, but the way that the original Jesus Lord worked out with the Kanye portion filling up the first half, and then the J Electronica verse followed by the Larry Hoover Jr. talk, that was perfect for me. It could have just stayed at that. Moon featuring Kid Cudi, to me that was another highlight. Pure Souls, that's another highlight. And is it me or on, I think it was Pure Souls, is he challenging Drake to a fight when he's talking about we got to take this outside? Or he's also dropping the word mob ties and another couple of references that could be clearly be seen as, you know, talking about, you know, the adversarial relationship between he and Drake. It sounded like he's, and I could be wrong in my interpretation, but hey, at the end of the day, we just need to settle this. Like, that's what it sounded like he was saying to me, but let me know if you interpreted that one differently. The song with Pop Smoke, I think it's Tell the Vision, track 19, I believe. That one I could have also done without. It features Pop Smoke. The beat's kind of not a great beat. Pop Smoke is always dope to me. Like, Pop Smoke is, it's just so tragic that he passed away as young and as tragically as he did. Like, my God, when you want to talk about special voices, like MF Doom had a special voice. It wasn't for everybody, but Pop Smoke's, like Anthony Fantano from Needle Drop put it best when he said the dude's voice actually sounds like smoke, like a very haunting sound to his voice. And it just always works, but it just seemed kind of gratuitous on this song because it didn't, to me, really play in to the theme of the overall album. And he just kind of pops in, and I don't know, it just seemed like it was sort of tacked onto there because you had access to a Pop Smoke verse. But, you know, I feel a certain way about projects being released on behalf of a deceased artist. Unless the deceased artist called for it or wanted this to happen explicitly, it's usually, like, for instance, Biggie Smalls, when Notorious B.I.G. died, they had the Born Again album and a bunch of other tracks that Biggie might or might not have really had any sort of a production hand in. And in the case of Pop Smoke, it seems like they're really getting to the point already where they're kind of scratching the bottom of the barrel for Pop Smoke content, which is really sad. But at this point, it's almost best that you let him rest and maybe find other ways of generating revenue around the Pop Smoke name if you have to. But it's just not doing a lot of good musically. But yeah, overall, I mean, I thought that the Kanye West lyrics were pretty on point. You know, he had that one rhyme, it was on Off the Grid, in fact, and it sounds like he's talking about, you know, Kim Kardashian and himself. We both got a bag, but my bag is more heavy. We had to stop counting, it's getting too petty. Like, damn. So yeah, if we're really just rating this on the lyrics, on the music, on the quality of the songs, you can't give this a 0. You can't give this a 3, even a 4. Yes, it is a tedious listen. This is a very long album, way longer than it has to be. But if the lowest I would think that you could really give this one is a 5. But I thought that the best songs on here, you know, the highlights were probably Hurricane, Jonah, Junior, Believe What I Say, big time. That was one of the better ones. Same with Moon. That was one of my favorite. That's the one with Kid Cudi. Heaven and Hell was pretty good. Keep My Spirit Alive. Now, that's the one with Conway the Machine and Westside Gunn. That, to me, is one of the 3 best songs on this album. Not because Conway's verse is particularly great. In fact, I thought that both Conway and Westside Gunn kind of like eased up on their lyricism. Because they're like, especially Conway, well, they both are hyper lyricists. Not super fast, but I'm just saying, like, some of the best lyrics you'll hear in boom bap style of rap. They kind of simplified the verses to basically match the theme and the overall message of the song Keep My Spirit Alive. Very, very good song. Obviously, Jesus Lord, best song on the album in my opinion, and Pure Souls. Come to Life, No Child Left Behind, the 2 that close the album, are pretty decent, not great in my opinion. Very long album. This could have probably been like 20 to 30 minutes shorter. And then just tacking on those part twos, those 4 part twos at the end of the album, didn't strengthen it really in any way. You know, when Jay-Z used to release albums and he would have like bonus tracks at the end, they would be tracks that would have been featured earlier that year on like a soundtrack, like Hey Poppy, or the Girls, Girls, Girls remix on Blueprint, which was an entirely different Girls, Girls, Girls type of song. Or Jigga My Nigga was on the end of, I think, Volume 3, maybe Volume 4, one of those, or either Volume 3 or The Dynasty. At the end was Jigga My Nigga, which was already a big single. But just making the same song, but swapping featured verses for your part twos, again, that wasn't a great decision. But again, I don't even know who's making what decisions, so I'm not going to get too deep into that. But yeah, I wouldn't give this a 0, a 3. I would actually give this a 7, probably 7, maybe 8. I have to first, maybe give it another listen or two, and then just kind of line it up with where I see it fitting in the ranking of Kanye West albums. To me, this is easily the best album since The Life of Pablo for Kanye. In fact, I think that it's better than The Life of Pablo. So probably the best Kanye album since Yeezus, but then I'd have to go back and see if perhaps this might even be better than Yeezus. It's not a bad album. It's a long album, but there's a lot of good stuff on here. And if you enter the album with an open mind, I think you'll agree and see the same, especially the highlights here that I'm referring to. But yeah, let me know what you think about this Kanye West album, Donda. Was it worth the wait? I think that it was. I think that it was. And I don't think that it lacks quality. It's just very long. But please, leave your comments in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.